Oh my god, you guys. I came in here saying I'm not gonna buy anything. Let's come down.
Yeah, it was gonna be. Yeah, let's just look.
Let's just walk in.
Stay tuned till the end for a special announcement.
Everybody, welcome to the Doll Circle. Today I'm going to talk about discontinued dolls, and I've been going through my collection, and over the past year now, which I can't believe it's been that long, I've been filming and letting go of a lot of my collection, and as I was going through them, I was holding them up and I was like, wow, a lot of these just don't exist anymore. A lot of these doll lines have just come and gone. Some have lasted a few years, some have lasted as short as a year or two. So today I'm going to deep dive into some of the dolls that I own that are now discontinued. So obviously, over the years of dolls being produced, there has been lines that have lasted forever. For example, Barbie, and then lines that have come and gone, and some that we're not surprised that they did not last. There's been a few lines out there for sure. But today I wanted to talk about, as I went through a lot of my collection, and I was like, wow, some of these dolls, like I remember them the first release, and now looking back, it's like, wow, they're discontinued. So going into one of the first ones, which initially when they first came out, I wasn't really a huge fan. I'll admit, I was kind of like, oh, they're cute, I'll get one. And then over the years, I've purchased and sold them, and then I've bought them back, and just, you know, how as we are as doll collectors going through that cycle, and that's La-Di-Da dolls. Now, La-Di-Da dolls first came out August 2012, which is 11 years ago, which feels like yesterday. And I remember when they first hit the shelves, and I was kind of surprised by them. They were by Spin Master, and Spin Master has had some other doll lines, of course, in the past come out, but this was just very unique for them. They had larger heads and smaller framed bodies. They almost gave me this impression of a pull-up doll, but being like super play line variation of them, right? Because we had like this larger head, and then a body that had some articulation. Like obviously it doesn't have great articulation. We have some articulation in the, you know, knees. The arms just go up and down. They're singular pose. Now there was different lines with the La-Di-Da collections. We had obviously like the first one, which was City Girl D, which of course had like the kind of like Statue of Liberty-esque moments in her outfit. And then we had things like Sweet Party, and then Runway Vacay, and then like Juicy Crush that had like fruit themes, which I have some of the fruit themed dolls here to show you in person. They're super beat up because I've gotten them over the years, but we have like one with grape themes and one with watermelon themes, and they were very, very colorful, big doll-eyed dolls that had some unique features. But with any doll line, there's always, of course, going to be, with a positive comes some ridicule. And recently I was actually going through, as I was like looking up, because I was going through my collection, I was like, wow, let me learn more about La-Di dolls, because I feel like they came and went very quickly. And then as I went through my research of La-Di-Da dolls, because of course as I was going through them on my shelf and dusting them off, I was like, I want to learn a little bit more about them. And I randomly came up to this article, which I'm going to share here with all of you. I'm not familiar with this website, but I came along this article when I was looking it up, and it's called the repproject.org. And I'm going to just read a little excerpt, which I thought was very interesting. It says, what's most unsettling about these dolls is that they're extremely thin. Sure, Barbie has suffered her share of criticism for inhuman proportions, but these take a whole new level with their toothpick-like arms and legs. Even consumer product reviews of the La-Di-Da line say that the dolls themselves are a little too fragile and breakable. Now, coming off of that article there, or just a little excerpt article, it's true, I will admit that they are very thinly framed, but we've had other thinly framed dolls in the past, so I feel like it's a lot to kind of just attack these dolls for that. I mean, is that maybe part of the reason why they didn't last? Because as I was going through a lot of these doll lines, I was like, well, why didn't they work? I do agree that their bodies are pretty fragile feeling. Like, they don't feel like a doll that you can like throw around, that I would give to like a 5-year-old and it would last. Like, I really don't feel that. They do feel very lightweight. These did come out at around a $20 price point, or maybe it was even $15, I think, for some of them at the time. And yeah, I'll admit, they're not the best. But do we think that the body proportions was playing a big part into the demise of these dolls? I personally don't think so. I think they just, like most of these quick, they're here for a season, gone for a season type of doll lines. I think La-Di-Da was just one of those lines where it was cute, it was fun, like a couple of the dolls from each group were cute, but outside of that, it really just couldn't expand the storyline. And then I was trying to find the date that they went away because I really thought that they lasted longer. But according to Confessions of a Doll Collector's Daughter, definitely check their website out. I always have been reading them for years now. It says, bye la-di-da. Sadly, another toy line bites the dust. La-di-da dolls are officially discontinued. Apparently 2013 was not a good year for the new toy line. So unfortunately, and this comes right after a Pinky Cooper doll, which is a whole other doll that got discontinued as well. I mean, again, I love Spin Master because they just keep trying. You know, they've made so many doll lines over the years and they just keep trying. And unfortunately, La-di Doll was just not a doll line to last. I mean, they were cute. They were really, really cute. But yeah, they just didn't make the cut for lasting more than a year, which is wild. Now, a doll line that is very, very popular, and even to this day, I feel like, I can't believe we're almost into our second decade of its release, or its initial release, is My Scene Dolls. Now, My Scene came out in 2002, and it was Mattel's answer to Bratz. Bratz was a big hit, 2001. It was everywhere. They were like, what is this new doll? Barbie has competition. And Mattel was like, oh no. What are we going to do? So they decided to release My Scene, which I'm going to admit, just like most of these doll lines you're about to hear, like, I wasn't initially a fan of. I was like, okay, because I was such a hardcore Barbie fan my whole entire life. So when, you know, all these other doll lines, including Bratz, came out, I was kind of like, no, I'm good. I'll stick with my Barbie. And even with My Scene, I remember seeing them on the shelf, but I never was attracted to them. I never was like, oh my gosh, I need to get all the My Scene dolls. Now, in hindsight, I should have looked at them more closely. So yes, My Scene was released in 2002. Like I said, the answer to Bratz. They still had Barbie-like proportions, you know, where they didn't have like an enlarged head or anything like that. But they kept the similar body styling of a Barbie, but the face itself was different. Very different, in my opinion. Now, they were discontinued years later, and I saw a couple different answers in my researches. It says in the US in 2008, it was discontinued, then worldwide in 2011, and then the website was officially shut down in 2014. Now, there was different moments in doll history where there was maybe possible hopes. I know in the 2016-2017 era, there were talks of possibly the My Scene line coming back, and unfortunately, it just never did. I mean, it's still not saying that it won't, or at least do I would love to see them do an anniversary. Like, I would love Mattel to go in and go, you know what, for its 25th anniversary of the initial release, we're going to release a collector's doll or something. I think that would be really great. I mean, because if you look at lines like Bratz is still going, and Bratz has done, you know, collector dolls, and they've come and they've gone, and they have reboots and things like that. I just feel like, do they feel like at Mattel it's just not worth it financially? I feel like there's a lot of really big My Scene fans out there. Now, My Scene was a little different. My Scene did have a lot of different characters. I mean, they still had a Barbie character, but a different Barbie. Barbie in the My Scene world, and then had a bunch of friends, and then there were male dolls as well, like here. Like, I just thought they were very... Now looking back, I was like, wow, I really missed out not buying them when they came out, but I like that they had real hair. Their face molds were different, especially for the male dolls. I feel like with Ken and Barbie, we've always had the Ken always looks the same. And just now in recent years, we've had different face molds. And I don't know, something about My Scene, they were just very unique, especially for the male doll line. But they were stunning. I mean, if you look at them, some of the dolls had rooted lashes. Like, My Scene just did not disappoint. Like, looking at them as a whole, I thought they were very, very unique. They're beautiful. Now, they did have some, let me show you a few funny things that if you're not familiar with My Scene dolls, that their feet, yes, still look like a Barbie foot, but their shoes kind of was giving a Bratz vibe where it was like clicked in. I don't know, it was like maybe easier not to lose the shoes, but I always looked at them and was like, that is so odd. Like, why do they do that? I don't get it. But now looking back, I'm like, okay, I guess it makes sense. Like, you don't lose the shoes as much, but then they have like these bulky looking feet. I thought they were really, really pretty. I thought they were unique. I've had them over the years now. Mainly I find them thrifting, obviously, because some of them can get a little pricey. Like the Masquerade line is my favorite, and those are really expensive. I mean, you can find them on eBay, Mercari, etc. But yeah, they tend to be pretty high price. So did you ever collect My Scene when they were out? Because like I said, looking back, I kind of am sad that I missed out on them. A line again. This one I actually did catch at the tail end of them when they were getting clearanced out at Toys R Us, and they had one where it was a doll with a house for like $24.99 on clearance, and I regret not getting it to this day. I'm like, why did I not buy it? Live Dolls, another Spin Master moment, because again, Spin Master, again, they try. Like, Spin Master has tried over the years, but they just can't compete with MGA and Mattel and a lot of these, I mean, that have great longevity to their doll lines. And Spin Master released Liv. Liv, I really thought was just beautiful in the sense that inset eyes. Oh gosh, I don't know what it is. That's why I think I love Rainbow High so much. Inset eyes just always win for me. Like, they just look so beautiful. It adds more depth. Some people say it makes them look scarier. I like them better. Like, I don't know, something about an inset eye, unless it's something like the My scene where the eyes are rooted and beautiful, you know, I don't know, the inset wins me. Now, one thing that really stood out with the Liv dolls is that, yes, they were still in the body frame of a similar, like, to a Barbie proportion wise, but the articulation was insane. Like, we had wrists, elbows, and this is when we first started getting, look at this. Look at this. She can do a high kick. Like, the 3-point articulation in the knee is wild to me. Like, this was just something so different. So that's why when I first caught the tail end of these at Toys R Us when they're going clearance, I was like, oh my gosh, I need these so much. And there was one, I'm just gonna have to post a picture here because it's very expensive. I loved this gift set. It was called it's called Liv Dolls It's My Nature gift set, and it was 4 dolls. It's like $300 now on eBay, so I'm like, I'm not gonna get it, but I just loved them. I thought they were so interesting, so pretty. Now, they were, you know, very much the ordinary 2000s doll, right? You know, a lot of them had like denim and they had like button-up shirts, and there was really nothing, I would say, from their just fashion that stood out. But I did really think the concept of, which I know a lot of you are probably like, when are you going to bring it up? The wigs. The wigs was a big selling point for these dolls. I mean, you could see that there is a peg on the top of the head here, and you could put wigs on it. So, for example, here I will show you one of the wigs I have. I used to have a big Liv collection because as they were getting discontinued, I was just buying them up like crazy, and they've slowly dwindled down. I've controlled myself. So see, there's a peg inside of the wig, and then the wig sticks on. And compared to a lot of other doll lines that have tried to make wigs for dolls, Liv, you could hide the wig line quite well. So if you see here, let me show you, it's on a plastic cap, but the hair, when it was brushed over, you wouldn't see that harsh wig line that some other dolls have had out in the past. So I thought these were beautiful. Their face molds I thought looked very realistic. It was giving me, again, don't come at me, I'm not saying that these are ball jointed dolls, but it gave me, like, I don't know, a very ball jointed like feel for a $20 Playline doll. And that's why I was so attracted to Liv dolls. Now, they didn't last very long. We were looking from about 2009 to about 2012 was when they were really being produced. I did see them years after, like for, I want to say like 1 to 2 years after, but that was mainly because they were like left over, they were being discounted, things of that. So yeah, another doll line that did not last by Spin Master. So sad. But definitely one of my favorites because of the articulation and the inset eyes I just thought were just so beautiful with them. This next doll line is so dear to me because it came out right in the height of when I was starting my YouTube channel, when I was collecting Monster High like crazy. And then this came out. Came out in May of 2013, 10 years old, wow. And I remember running to the Justice stores, which are no longer in my area, which I think even they closed down too. And I had to buy Raven. Raven was my favorite. I fell in love. The detail, Mattel really knocked it out of the park for these dolls. I mean, they released webisodes and like feature-length, well, not feature-length films. They were in theaters, but long-form videos, movies, you know, whether it was like Way to Wonderland. I mean, they went in because Monster High was doing so well. You know, the children of monsters. And then here was the children of fairy tale characters, and it was just great. Like, I mean, it was so good, the detailing. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't like their head shapes. I remember that was a big thing when I was unboxing these that I would consistently get was for the proportions of the body, they did not like the roundish heads. That didn't bother me. That did not bother me. Did I love their head shape? No, but the detailing is insane with these dolls, like insane. Like, look at these wings. Look at Cupid's wings. And through my collection, I was going through and I was like, wow, I had a lot of Cupids over the years. Cupid was one of my favorites, that was for sure. But unfortunately, they did not last. Later on in 2016, so about, I think it was like 3 years total. I couldn't find the exact month when they said they were discontinued, but it only lasted about 3 years, which is insane. I mean, obviously they were still on shelves afterwards. I mean, it was kind of like when these died off, also like G2 Monster High was right around that era and it was kind of like not doing well. So Mattel just had a rough moment. But a lot of it had to come with them losing the licensing to Disney. You know, you're probably familiar, as all doll collectors that we are, you know, that unfortunately Mattel had the Disney license, lost the Disney license to Hasbro. Of course, you know, Disney doesn't want you producing fairy tale dolls when they're a fairy tale doll line company themselves. So there was a lot of battling there, and it just makes me really sad that unfortunately we had to lose out on such a great doll line like Ever After High because of doll company drama. But I mean, it makes sense. I get it. But I would love to see them come back. I mean, at the end there, it was just getting hard for me to love them. I stopped buying them because they started getting on molded on legs. Like the pants were molded on. It was like, what is that? Like it just didn't look cute. They tried rebooting the faces, which I personally like this face. I didn't like the grinny big face that they tried doing. See, like this is just beautiful, and it makes me really, really sad that they decided to go in a more playline route near the end to try to cut corners, to try to save the line. But unfortunately they ended up getting the chop unfortunately, which is just so sad because I thought they were just such a great line. I mean, just I remember the first moment when I unboxed Raven for the first time and seeing the doll having fishnets. I was just like, this is the best thing ever. And I like the concept, and the movies were great. Like the webisodes were fantastic. I mean, the character development, the storylines, I was just like, wow, they really put time into it, and it's just really sad to not see them around. Now, the last doll line I'm going to touch on this little moment episode, if you like this of me just sitting here and talking about old dolls, because I'm obviously not going in full depth. A lot of us know the history, like for example with My Scene and Bratz, like we're familiar with the history of that. You know, it's just me sitting here talking about discontinued stuff or old toys. Like, I kind of love just going through them and talking about them. So if you like this, I'm probably going to do another one. So let me know in the comments whether doll, toy line things that are discontinued that you want me to talk about. But for the last one for today, I want to talk about another short-lived line. I feel like a lot of these are so short. Cave Club. And just like I've said with the other ones, I didn't initially fall in love with them. When they first came out, I saw them at Toy Fair that year. I was so lucky to see them at Toy Fair. And they had this giant display, and it was just like, wow, kind of prehistoric. I was thinking Flintstone dolls is kind of the vibe I was getting. And I remember looking at it and going, I don't know if it's for me, because I was just so much into like Monster High. I was missing Ever After High at the time, and Chantimals were still around. And I was kind of like, you know what? I'm still heartbroken. I'm still missing Ever After High and Monster High. And then Mattel came out with like, look, we have like dinosaur dolls. And then I was like, that's not the same. Now, I can't believe I'm going to say this, that this doll came out almost like 3.5, 4 years ago, but it did. So it came out early 2020. There were talks about it in 2019, but it really hit the shelves around that time. So maybe part of it was, you know, everyone staying home and not going out and buying dolls that maybe hurt this line. But the doll line was giving you a mix of, like I said, a little bit of Enchantimal vibe, but keeping it in a dinosaur world. Now, like I said, was kind of like not into them when they first came up, but now I've gone kind of crazy, and I went and every time I'm at a thrift store, I'm like piecing them together, and I have like the dinosaur, and I have all of them riding the dinosaur, and like all the pieces around them, and I don't have the full collection, but I'm getting little by little. I know Mini Toy Adventures on Instagram, they recently, well, I was gonna say maybe like 2 months ago, is still recent to me, but was posting pictures of their collection. I was like, oh my gosh, like I really think they're cute. So I've been going crazy buying them. That's my new thing. I've been buying a lot of Cave Club. I didn't realize that there are 60 releases for the Cave Club line. I was like, I didn't think it was that many. Oh my gosh. I mean, they are really, really cute. They have like chunkier feet. They look very cave person-like to me. I like that they have articulated in the articulation in the wrist and the elbows and the knees, but they remind me now, and I think looking at them, they kind of give me Monster High G3 vibes. I feel like they took this and it was kind of like on its way out, which I was researching. I couldn't find an official end of or discontinued date, but the last time I would say maybe 2 years. I think this toy line, I saw them on shelves for about good 2 years, and last Christmas of 2022 I saw them all on clearance at Target. So I'm gonna say they only lasted 2 years. That's my like educated guess. Now you can still find them on Amazon for a very reasonable price. So if you are feeling a little nostalgic for these, buy them on Amazon while you can. Because you know, one day, 5 years from now, they're gonna be like $50 and you won't be able to get them. So for me, I was just like surprised that they didn't do well for a younger demographic, because I feel like when I was younger, I loved dinosaurs. Like, I was all about dinosaurs. The Brontosaurus was my favorite. I loved all the herbivore dinosaurs, and I would have loved this when I was a kid. Like, I feel like looking at these are definitely something when I was much younger I would have gotten into. Now I've gotten into them. I don't know why. Like, I have a whole shelf of them now. Like, I don't know what's happening with me. Like, I want to buy all, like, I think there's 2 different little sloth figures, because they also had surprise toys with the Cave Club line. And the only thing I don't like, and I've noticed I've been having a lot of issues when I find them thrifting, is, do you see the mess of the hair? Like, the hair starts off like this in the box, but when people play with it, it goes wild. And I think this is probably, I was in my researches, I think this is poly hair. The hair is not good. The hair is bad. The hair is very frizzy. The hair is hard to manage. The hair is wild. It just kind of feeds into their cave-like aspect. But yeah, that is one thing I'm noticing as I find them in the thrift stores, which I'm finding quite a few. They're pretty frizzy. Very frizzy dolls. But yeah, Mattel tried with this line. I mean, I would have loved to have seen more from it. I would have loved to have seen a whole cave play set. They did, like I said, release multiple dinosaurs. They had a T-Rex and a Triceratops that the dolls could ride on. They also had like little babies, and they did have very fun lines with these, but yeah, unfortunately they did not last very long at all. The price points were good on these. I feel like most of these, when they first were released, were about like $14.99, and they came with some fun accessories. But yeah, I think they just didn't come out at the right time. I think that's what was the big killer for Cave Club. But yeah, my collection is growing. Maybe one day I'll do a collection video of Cave Club. I'm not complete at all yet. I am still missing quite a few of them, but yeah, it's growing. They're just really cute, just not the best of quality, I'll put it there. But they were all really fun. And yeah, I can't believe it's already been a few years. So go figure. So yes, this video is not fully in depth, and I didn't give you the full history of every doll, but like I said, I was just going through my collection as I've been deciding to let a lot of them go, and I was just like, wow, like a lot of these are discontinued. So yeah, watch out. Maybe I'll do another video like this. Throw in the comments what lines I should talk about next that are discontinued, and if I have them, I'll show them here. To wrap up this video, not to make it sad, all for the month of November, I will be doing auctions with Clawdeena over on Whatnot, and a lot of the dolls that you saw in today's video will be in those auctions. So definitely click the link in below. If you're not already signed up for Whatnot, use my link. You get a $15 off coupon off your first purchase, whether it's off of my auction or Clawdeena. So definitely click that and sign up there. And if you're already on Whatnot, because you've purchased from my auctions before, definitely bookmark all of my shows. I will be posting the dates here shortly. So through the month of November, check out Clawdeena and I. We'll be doing Whatnot auctions, letting some of these discontinued dolls go, which is wild to think that, you know, I've had them over the years, but yeah, making room for some new stuff in my life. So until next time, click the links in the description. Let me know what discontinued dolls I should talk about next. And it was fun just sitting here chatting with all of you, just reminiscing. All right, till next time. Bye, everybody.